Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray, and thank you for watching. Today, we're going to be talking about Final Space Season 3, Episode 4, and a lot of stuff went down in this episode. A lot of crazy stuff. Tribore is kind of annoying in part of it, but also kind of a badass. He is the most annoying badass character I have ever dealt with, I guess is the best way to describe Tribore. It's really weird what goes on with his whole scenario with his son Quattro there. But let's kind of start at the beginning of the episode and work our way up to that point, is the best way to describe it. So we start off with everybody tied up. You got Fox, Ash, Cheryl, little Kato. Everybody's tied up. Invictus is waiting to kind of possess them, take out some of their life energy, and Ash manages to escape and pretty much go neck and neck with the Lord Commander. Her powers are pretty on point with his. She is almost able to defeat him, but then he makes her doubt herself. At least that's what I think happens in the process, and he ends up completely demolishing her hands, her fingers get all broken and janked up. And I think Ash is going to be really important in the next couple of episodes. Her attitude is definitely going to change because of how the episode ended with her. So she is kind of out for the count. Meanwhile, Cheryl figures out a way to escape and runs away. She has to be the super cool lady, so she pretends that she's, not actually interacting with any of the other characters, that she's just in it for herself. But no, in fact, she does try to find a communication device to contact Gary in order to save all of her new friends, because she has definitely, become a better character as opposed to previously last season, as we saw her keep escaping and running away and not caring about her son over and over and over again. And the Titan that she made a pact with anyway is dead, so that no longer matters now anyway. So bada bing, bada boom. Then we have Gary and Quinn on the ship. We learn of Quinn's untimely fate, literally. She has been poisoned by Final Space, and she has roughly 36 hours to live. I'm going to say that means 3 episodes, roughly. As you figure, like, each episode's roughly a day or something. Maybe it's more, maybe it's less. It depends on what they do, time skips, things along those lines as well. But my guess is that it's probably 3 episodes, so we need to get out of Final Space within 3 episodes, or Quinn is going to die. Q is the one that scanned her to figure this information out, and she really doesn't want Hugh to tell Gary. I don't think she wants to tell Gary. It's probably going to be like a last of the moment thing, because she doesn't want him to worry about her. She just wants to, save everybody else, get out of Final Space, be good to go, and she'll tell him probably at the last possible minute if it does ultimately come down to that. I don't think they're going to kill off Quinn. That would kind of be a crappy move, because they already got rid of Nightfall. Everybody seemed to love Nightfall. She was a badass character, even though she is technically Quinn, but future Quinn. So I hope they don't end up killing off Quinn as well, because then there goes Gary's love interest, and there goes those awkward kind of funny moments, like when you see kind of like 2 teenagers, or even just two people, meeting up for the first time, slightly starting to like each other, and then it's just like you have awkward moments until you finally get comfortable with each other. Relationships are weird like that. Gives him a little kiss, which is kind of nice as well, and then gets the emergency signal where to track everybody down to go save them, and that's what he does, and he goes to save everybody in the process. Meanwhile, let's get on to what Tribore and Quattro, his son, are doing. They're kind of having some son and father arguments a little bit. It's really kind of an annoying joke, because Quattro speaks Spanish. There is subtitles, but at the same time, we don't. Tribore has no idea what he's saying, so we don't know how he somehow magically learned Spanish, but or if he knows other languages. But he can't actually understand his son, although I think his son can kind of understand him. We're not 100% on that. They find some sort of civilization with these like kind of creepy golem-looking people, like if you know Lord of the Rings. Very pale, wide black eyes, and they are being invaded by giant, muscular, praying mantis people. And they just badass it, kill all of them. Between the 2 of them, And there's a very annoying joke where, there's this shopkeep and he's just like, help save us, save us, save us, save us, save us. And he was like, oh, can you resist us? Resist us? Because he's part of the resistance, and he literally is just watching all these people die because this one guy isn't saying resist, and he probably let 5 to 6 people die before he actually started saving people, which is pretty messed up because it just is. He was just like, no, I'm not going to save you unless you say resistance. And when he finally is about to say it, he's just like, shh, I already know what you need. And then he just goes with his son and just starts killing all the praying mantis people. And now we got an army. So he saved all these people. These people plan on following Triboar, if I can speak tongue-tied here. And I'm sure they are going to play a role in helping defeat Invictus in the future. So now kind of pan back over to what is happening with Lord Commander. Gary comes down to save everybody along with Quinn. Biscuits at one point says that he's wasting his robot arm previously in the episode. And we learned that Gary has several attachments in his robot arm. We know that he has a blaster in there, very powerful blaster, and he also has a sword, which is pretty cool. So I would kind of figured they were going to do that at some point in time, and they didn't just give somebody a robot arm and not do cool stuff with it. And Biscuits definitely broke that barrier. So now Gary has a gun at all times because his arm can transform into a gun, and also some sort of energy sword at all times as well. So Gary is never without a weapon, which is really nice. There's also kind of a funny thing where Gary was like, all right, Hugh, where's the guns? And then Hugh just like displays like the entire United States worth of guns in the ship. And Gary's just like, all right, come on, we got enough. Like we understand. You have literally every gun ever manufactured ever for the last 300 years. I just thought that was kind of funny, how it was just like nonstop guns for a solid minute. So we go to rescue everybody. Gary actually kind of kills the Lord Commander. Again, he literally shoots him in the face, blowing off half of his face. But because Invictus is the thing, Invictus just heals the Lord Commander. It was like, oh, well, you let Mooncake get away. You let most of the prisoners get away. You failed me. And then we kind of end the episode with Lord Commander chasing after them in a ship. The biggest issue with Ash, though, is she's in a really bad mental state right now because she just got defeated. Her fingers are broke. She's in pain. Not to mention the situation that happened with Fox near the very end of the episode. Gary literally, stereotypical last-minute saving people, as they like to do to make situations tense, makes perfect sense. Fox does not get saved. So Fox, unfortunately, does not get saved from Invictus, gets taken over by Invictus. So we don't know if Fox is dead at this point. It is a very good possibility that Fox is not going to make it. Knowing Gary, knowing Triboar and the crew, maybe Triboar and his new followers will go save all the people that are being controlled by Invictus at this point in time. We don't really know how that whole situation is going to pan out, but I don't think Ash is going to permanently leave Fox there. Fox definitely has not really played an important role this season whatsoever, a little bit more so last season. Ash is now starting to get her role back as well, and she's definitely going to want to save her brother. I mean, it makes perfect sense. She already kind of lost her father. She doesn't want to lose her brother as well. Clarence, maybe Clarence will come back at some point in time. We don't really know. He's not dead, so there is a good possibility that Clarence will come back for the foreseeable future. So what is probably going to happen is Lord Commander's ship, I'm hoping, gets blown up and he's finally 100% dead. He may or may not fully die this season. We don't know because Invictus can just keep bringing him back to life. So he doesn't really matter how many times he actually gets killed because with the powers Invictus gave him, he is pretty much immortal at this point or close to it. That much we know. We don't really know much other than that. Bolo was not present at all in this episode, so I'm guessing we're going to see Bolo next episode as well, possibly killing some Titans. He can survive in final space, no problem, so it doesn't really matter for him. We also don't know how all these people that Triboar found got there in the first place, so are all of them dying of final space sickness, or will they die if they get out of final space? Maybe they're just people that live in a crater in final space. We don't really have all the details of final space yet at this point in time. I'm sure we'll get some more as time goes on. I know people that live outside of final space, they go into final space, slowly die of final space poisoning. So everybody has a time limit. Quinn has been there the longest, so she again only has 36 hours left to live. I think by the end of the episode, it's like 33. So like 3 hours passed. So she's going to be there for several more episodes. Hopefully we get out of final space. We get a preview of going to some sort of warp tunnel. That is a massive problem. Kevin, the actual human Kevin, he is working on getting everybody out of final space. So he's working on that. We got a brief little message from him earlier in the video. So I'm sure they will actually be able to fully get out of final space and be good to go for the foreseeable future. Rating, I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. It's still kind of those instances of, you know, where they do like it's kind of like a forced comedy thing where it doesn't really need to be in there. It's probably something that the network is requiring, so they're forcing it. It's definitely a lot less present than previous seasons, I have noticed. And it does kind of slow the episode down. Like there was like another 2-minute chunk where Tribor was interacting with the shopkeep and, you know, talking about the resistance thing. It was supposed to be a funny thing, but it was just kind of annoying, and it just slowed down the episode for me. But I think that's where we'll leave it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. While you're down there, hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and leave a like as well. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.